Hello, my dear squids. It's your boy, your father, the voice that echoes around your mind as you waddle your Ninja 400 out of the garage every day. It is, of course, Yemi Noob. We're here with some bread and butter motorcycle content today, talking about 7 things to not do on your bike. Of course, you already know what you must do: turbo kit, dank nooners, yeet energy, and the like. So today we're going to talk about some big no-nos for riders of all experience levels. Without much further ado, let's get into it. Today's video is sponsored by our friends at Rockform. Let's get started. The first thing to never do on a motorcycle is ride with bad tires. Tires are the only thing keeping you in contact with the ground, so a proper tire is imperative to safe riding. A good tire will allow a greater amount of traction, increasing the amount you can lean and the amount of energy you can put on it while it manages to continue gripping the road. Every so often I feel like I need to reiterate this because someone will think, well, my tire is still holding air and it doesn't have any clear gouges or bulges, it's fine. And while a tire might not have any clear signs of damage or uneven wear, and it may even still have a decent amount of tread left, if it is too old or of poor quality or is maintained outside, the compounds begin to harden and the tire's ability to maintain traction becomes limited. You can determine a tire's age by the 4-digit code on the side, indicating the week and the year a tire was produced. Motorcycle tires begin to be considered old after 6 years from the production date. Signs your tires may be old or worn out are dry rot, gouging, cracks, uneven wear, bulging, cupping, and tread wear. Make sure you've got good tires on your bike. The added stability and control you'll feel immediately is a night and day difference. The same thing can be said for replacing cheap tires that came on your bike, like if it's rocking some Zoom cruises from the factory. As a bonus tip, be sure to ride conservatively for the first 50 miles or so on a brand new set of tires, so they may take some time to scrub in and reach their ultimate levels of grip. You can accelerate this process by doing some tight figure eights in a parking lot. Also, additional bonus tip, check your tire PSI often. I cannot tell you how many times I've ridden someone else's bike or I've rented a bike from Twisted Road or something like that, and I get the bike and it has like 15 PSI front and rear. Your bike will handle poorly if it's not inflated properly. You've heard it here, you've heard it during the MSF, and you've heard it on social media because you posted a picture of yourself on your brand new bike in the driveway not wearing a helmet or jacket, and then you got flamed by the @GAT keyboard warriors on Reddit. So I'm not gonna say never to ride without gear. We know this. So instead, I'm gonna say don't wear cheap gear on a motorcycle, because I see this all the time. The internet is overflowing with cheap, knockoff, borderline novelty motorcycle riding gear. Do I need to say which pant brand? I think I've got that covered. It's NBD. You've got the dreadlock helmets, the baseball cap helmets, the gloves with spikes, the fashion leather jackets being sold as quote-unquote motorcycle gear, and of course, rebranded Chinese riding jeans. This isn't good. When it comes to motorcycle gear, there are so many highly regarded brands that make approachable entry-level gear for beginners, so do your research. Look for the safety ratings, both DOT and ECE for a helmet, and CE ratings for other gear, and make sure you know where it's coming from. Sure, if you want to be a degen squid and use a Temu slip-on exhaust on your motorcycle, whatever, that doesn't pose an immediate threat to your physical safety. If you discount the angry mob that's going to chase you out of your own neighborhood every time you record Gixxer 600 shorty exhaust, cold exhaust, sound for reels on your squid-tailored Instagram accounts, but please, when it comes to buying gear that can literally save your life, make the investment and buy safety-rated gear from reputable brands. Don't ride with cheap stuff. Also, the saying goes, buy cheap, buy twice. That's especially true for gear. If you get a really great set of jacket, gloves, helmets, and boots, though, then it's going to last you a longer time. And you certainly don't want to ride with a cheap phone case either. Do you know what would happen if your phone fell out of your pocket in the midst of a dankanooner, lest it be ensconced in the frailest of plebeian cases? Imminent destruction. Should the same thing happen while armored in a Rockform phone case? Survival. And don't just ask me, Rockform has thousands and thousands of reviews that all share the same sentiment. These puppies are rock solid. I literally fumble and drop my phone all the time because I genuinely don't care about it very much, and Rockform is always there backing me up. My wife says my phone looks like an indestructible brick, and I like it that way. With a Rockform phone mount, your case can seamlessly attach in just seconds and be completely secure on your bike. If you're riding in uncharted territory, trying to avoid a traffic pileup, or want more control over the music in your helmet, a handlebar mount is crucial. We're rocking one on the new giveaway GSX X8R, and it's for good reason. Rockform makes the best in the biz. I wouldn't be telling you about them otherwise. We worked for them for years, and I love their stuff. Head over to rockform.com and use the code YN25 for 25% off your order. That's a sweet little treat from me to you, my sweet squid. That's 25% off on YN25. They got cases for every phone on the market and handlebar mounts and stem mounts for any motorcycle. So I'm sure you'll find what you're looking for. Thanks again to Rockform for the support. Let's get back to the show. All right, since we're on the topic of motorcycle social media trends, another thing I've been seeing more and more are these videos of road rage incidents. So let's just categorize this section as don't freak out about cars being idiots. I talked about this on my essential beginner rider traffic tips, and I mean, I get it. A car can kill you when you're on a motorcycle, and car drivers can make a lot of ill-advised decisions on the road, both deliberately and most often due to negligence, but say you're cut off by a car, or a car tries to change lanes but doesn't see you in their blind spot. Try to make it a point to take the high road. I know the adrenaline's gonna get pent up, but don't ride up to the car at the stoplight, bang on their window, and scream and holler in their face about how they could have killed you because your GoPro is running and you know that the clip will go viral. Freaking out like that, whether it be genuine or sensationalized for social media clout, does not really have a net positive outcome. You stand the risk of either enraging the person driving the car, which can have countless potential negative outcomes. You might just genuinely frighten the person who could have just made an honest mistake, which isn't going to paint a very good picture of the motorcycling community and is just a bit spiteful. And lastly, freaking out about stuff like that is just going to make you lose focus and encourage you to make reckless decisions when you ride. De-escalate the situation, my dudes. Be zen. Don't freak out and lose your cool on your motorcycle. Keep your attitude and ego in check and just let stuff go. And especially don't film such an ordeal and post it on social media as if you're some sort of martyr for the motorcycle community. You're not. You're just a testosterone-fueled 24-year-old with an action camera and an attitude problem. With that being said, certain close calls with cars on the road can seem like they're unavoidable or happening on a super frequent basis. That's why it is important to not assume that cars can see you. We've all heard it before. Next to ATGAT, ride like you're invisible is one of the most proselytized phrases in motorcycling, and for good reason. In many circumstances, on the road, a car cannot see you. Compared to the dozens of gargantuan SUVs and pickup trucks that clog up American roads, a single motorcycle is just a blip on the radar. Your presence doesn't register as quickly to other motorists when they're used to seeing full-sized, slower-moving automobiles. And that's why riding like you're invisible and assuming you're unable to be seen by cars on the road puts the responsibility of defensive driving in your hands. You must stay vigilant of cars, crosswalks, stoplights, intersections, and develop those good perception habits. You must be able to predict the action of cars to be able to avoid putting yourself in a harmful situation. For instance, if you're in the far right lane and you see a car stopped at the curb waiting for the car ahead of you to pass before they exit a parking lot, it's fair to assume that right after that car passes them, they're gonna try to pull out on the road, not even noticing that you're right there, essentially putting you right in harm's way. These are all little instances where, as you become a more experienced rider, you can begin to effectively predict how a car is going to behave in certain situations. So don't assume car drivers can see you and ride like you're invisible. When riding a motorcycle, don't white knuckle the handlebar. It's really common for new riders to be nervous trying to think through all the different steps and protocols they were taught to follow when learning how to ride a motorcycle. You gotta worry about the clutch, the throttle, the friction zone, the front brake, the back brake. Did you leave the kickstand down? What gear are you in? Your bike doesn't have a gear indicator. Where's neutral? You can't find neutral. Oh my God, why is it so hard to find neutral? Oh wait, there it is. Oh, the light turned green, back down into first. And amidst all of this, you're so afraid of your bike yeeting out from underneath you, you're holding onto the grips really tightly, so you think you were riding the mechanical bull at the local honky tonk. But you don't want to do that. You want to be light on the controls, but not too light. Have a reasonable grip, you know what I'm saying? Most importantly, a light grip allows you to have more precise control over the motorcycle, helps you make subtle adjustments to maintain your speed and stability. A light grip allows your bike to move more freely beneath you, which is incredibly important during off-road riding. Not that I've ever done that. Remember, I'm not allowed to go off-road anymore. But anyway, don't hold on to the controls too tightly, and you'll be one step closer to being a much better rider. This next tidbit is less to do with riding and more to do with wrenching, as they often go hand in hand. Do not cut any wire or break any part during removal without 100% guaranteeing that the replacement part is correct and fits properly, and that wire is in fact not important. Like I said, we've all been there. I have on camera snipped many an important wire and regretted it very, very deeply. You've got the overly simplified directions from your universal fit tail tidy or your turn signal relocation kit, and you're almost positive that you're going to have to cut one of the wires to splice replacing a new one anyways. So you give it a snip, and upon reassembly, you realize you cut it in the wrong place, and now you're missing an entire foot of wiring that you need to reach the place where it needs to go. So now you have to splice together wire, cut it again in the proper place, suture it all back together, and it's just gonna look jank. Or maybe you want to upgrade some parts. Say you want to replace your rear sprocket. The bolts were over-torqued and seized up from moisture and dirt, and you wrestle with trying to get it off, strip a few bolts in the process, take an angle grinder to the whole thing, destroying the bolts and the old sprocket in the process. Once it's off, you've got your new sprocket and bolts, you realize you were sent the wrong one, and it doesn't fit on your wheel. Well, now your old sprocket is even more destroyed than it was before, and it has been rendered no more useful than a paperweight. And so now you've got to wait for the replacement sprocket to come in, rendering you with an unrideable motorcycle. So just remember, don't cut any wire or do anything like that without triple checking where it goes, and don't remove or destroy any part without knowing for sure that the replacement part does in fact fit. And remember, a part that says universal fitment just means it universally doesn't fit on a bike without any modification. That is a hard lesson every new rider will learn one way or another. And the last thing you don't want to do on a motorcycle is get target fixation. Target fixation is a phenomenon that occurs when a rider becomes so focused on a specific object or hazard that they unintentionally steer towards it. This often happens in emergency situations or when a rider is trying to avoid an obstacle but ends up fixating on it instead. It's like how when you were at your friend's house in middle school and his mom got out of the pool and walked over to the chair to grab her towel to dry off, and you knew you shouldn't look, and you especially didn't want her or your friend to see you look, but you still end up looking anyway, and boy did you like what you saw. And from that moment on, something inside of you changed. You were no longer interested in trading cards or playing pickup sticks. No way, you only cared about one thing, and that one thing is S-E. And that's where the joke ends, because this is YouTube and I gotta play by the rules. For uncensored content, you go to yammynoob.co and become a member, get access to Discord, and subscribe to the newsletter. It's very NSFW. Anyway, target fixation can become a huge problem for motorcyclists. Even more experienced riders can suffer from it. It takes a lot of practice to learn to deny your instincts to stare at the thing you're trying to avoid. Whether it be on the edge of the road, a tree, a pothole, or the fear of abandonment you've never been able to shake since your parents got a divorce in 1999. The solution? Therapy. The solution to target fixation: look where you want to go. In the instance of a curve, you should look towards the exit. Look where you want to go, and your body and bike will follow. And like that, we've reached the end of the video and our time together for now. There was a lot to cover in this episode, so there are many things I may have left out that you shouldn't do. Don't ride your bike beyond your skill level. Don't leave your bike parked outside overnight without a lock. Don't rev your bike to redline and dump the clutch. Maybe we'll have to do a part 2. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. I hope you found this helpful. Subscribe to the channel if you like the content. Sign up for our free newsletter for more uncensored motorcycle stuff, and I suppose check out our other social media accounts, because we're doing stuff on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok as well. I know, Boomer Yam shilling his social platforms. It sounds silly, but we've got a lot of fun stuff we've been experimenting with that's well checking out. Thanks to Rockform for the support. I'll catch you guys later. Fact: bus seats are designed so that you cannot tell how dirty they really are. That's why that pattern's there. Look close though, and you will be impressed. Goodbye. You've made it to the end of another Yammy Noob video. Aren't you just a special little cookie? Aren't you just something so great? Aren't you just, look at you, you're just so freaking cute. Why don't you go ahead and click on the next video? Why don't you go ahead, listen, hey, I'm just kidding around. Hey, listen to me. Click on the video.